All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another TBV film study, a review in all angles where we take a look at a fight, looking for its flaws and looking for its, I guess, key points, the good things that the fighters do. Obviously, the fighter in question is Daniel Jacobs, who will be making his attempt at glory versus Gennady Triple G Golovkin, who has the IBO, WBA, WBC, IBF, right? Yeah, he has IBF. So which one is the other one? Oh, he's missing a WBO. So yeah, he's got his shot at glory. So we're going to go back and watch a Daniel Jacobs fight, to be fair, because we watched a few Golovkins, so we're trying to keep it even here. So today's fight, it's going to be Daniel Jacobs versus Ishe Smith. Now, I'm going to bring on my co-host, the good doctor, Boxing MD. Why did we choose Ishe Smith, do you think?
Well, I would say this is his third most meaningful fight he's had in his career, right? The number one being against Kid Chocolate, which was only one round. We'll review that later, but there's not really much to review in that fight. Dimitri Prague being his second most meaningful fight, because Prague obviously was his lone defeat, but Prague himself being a very good prospect before he had back problems, right? And Ishe Smith being his only other notable opponent that really has gone rounds with him and potentially beat him. So we could see, I guess, his strengths and weaknesses, because Daniel Jacobs obviously had that battle with cancer, which caused his career to take a hiatus, not only in terms of, fighting in the ring, but as far as having the credible opponents that we could look back and analyze tape on, right? Because even after he came back from cancer, that had to build him back smart, also mentally, physically, and his name, because he is a story to tell, and he's an inspiration, and they didn't want to put him against someone like, I don't know, Sturm, like when he was still at the middleweight division right after he, defeated cancer.
Totally agree. You didn't know what you had, but you knew as a promoter, as a manager, that you did have a story that you can sell. And, credit to Daniel Jacobs that he slowly has been proving to the world that he is more than just a story. But we're going to get into this fight. I'll go ahead and click on the action here. We should give it a bit of volume. This is the interlude, though, right? So in the interim, I guess, while we wait for Jim Lampley to tell us why he's taking his listeners back, I'll give my version, very similar to MD's. It is one of the most notable names on his resume, Ishe Smith. I mean, he's really a career 154-pounder, but I remember covering this fight and interviewing Ishe and both Daniel in the lead up to this one, and Ishe after this feeling like he pulled away the win. This is a fight where he used to complain throughout his career. Back then, it was before he was signed with TMT Promotions, so he really held on to this Daniel Jacobs fight and the Fernando Guerrero loss as wins until, Mayweather came through and just gave him a second chance at boxing, and getting fights weren't that difficult, because there was a time where, Ishe, I believe, was with maybe Lou DiBella or just worked closely with him, but he just wasn't able to get the fights that he needed.
Can I ask you one question? Can you pause it for a second? Can you pause it for a second because the fight's about to start? I just want to ask, I'm going to be objective here. I just want to ask you a simple question, right? And then we could just, this is actually something I want people to go by, right? Has Daniel Jacobs ever been, in your opinion, a world champion?
No, I mean, he's got it. That was an interim WBA, right? He won the regular from Jarrell Fletcher, but yeah, the super champ was.
Okay, that's fair, because I didn't realize that. I thought before Prague that he was a champion, because he did win the WBO, but he won the WBO NABO middleweight belt. Yeah. So it wasn't until he got a shot at Prague who had the real belt.
To be fair, Gennady Golovkin won his title. The IBO was his first title, and he won it from Sebastian Lujan, I believe.
But that's fair. But I would be okay with not calling him world champion at that point, for sure.
But again, Gennady, all his titles were vacant, really. I mean, who'd he win a title?
I know, but that's not the point I'm trying to make. It's not how he won, and it's the fact that Daniel Jacobs has never had a legitimate belt. That's kind of what I'm saying. It's okay, but I mean, it's an objective question. I'm not being biased.
I hear you, but I'm just saying, I want you to know that the words that you're using fall under the same category as people's argument with Danny Garcia when he won the title.
I know, and Keith Thurman won his
Guerrero.
Yeah, Keith Thurman won his belt against Guerrero too.
Exactly,
right?
But being a vacant champion makes you a paper champion in the eyes of the hardcore fans.
Yeah, but I think there's degrees of paperness, right? But
no, I think at this point, Gennady has brought some validity to his titles, but technically it could be argued that he's a paper champ because they were all won on vacates because all the previous champions avoided him.
So, for example, if somebody wins a belt off Keith Thurman right now, all those belts, it doesn't matter how he won it. He beat Sean Porter and Daniel Garcia. Having those belts connected to him as a fighter, you beat him. Those are legitimate belts, both of those.
Absolutely.
Because he legitimized that. But anyways, we can move on. That's just a random, clarification. We always talk about that.
I just want to agree with you and say that that's exactly how I feel about Gennady Golovkin. While he might have gotten his titles in vacants or people, vacating and him being elevated, because that's what happened in the WBA. He was the interim, and then he got elevated to the regular. Then he got elevated to the super.
He won the belt by Canelo through a vacant belt as well.
And that was another one. He was the interim. He fought Rubio to be the mandatory. Then he won it on a vacant.
And they elevated him.
So, you're absolutely right. But he, as a fighter and how good he has performed, has given those titles validity. And whoever beats him, in my eyes, is the undisputed, and if you do not beat him, he is the undisputed in the middleweight division. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and press the play tape here and see can what most are calling Gennady Golovkin's biggest test prove to us that he's a good enough boxer. There's some interesting quotes. I'm hoping my co-hosts are available for later on tonight. I want to do a bunch of fight week shows, and Daniel Jacobs had some interesting things to say that we would like to talk about later on tonight. But it's showtime. So we're obviously in the first round. And, what could I say here? Daniel's in the middle of the ring. I'm expecting him to be the boxer in this fight. Ishe has always had, a history of holding his hands in his pockets, right? Here we are, 234, still hasn't thrown a punch. Wow, still hasn't thrown a punch. You believe that? But this is what I'm expecting from Jacobs versus Gennady, though, MD. I know he's probably letting me hang myself by letting me talk first. But this is what I want to see, honestly. I want to see this continuous jab. Not that slow jab that we just seen a few seconds ago, but definitely a more authoritative jab and keeping Gennady busy, making him, like you see Ishe here, use that high guard that Gennady likes to use. Now that we're looking, I'm like, oh wow, this might not be.
Yeah, but we've seen a difference in. I would say early on, I would say Smith has definitely thrown more punches. But I would say that Jacobs definitely has the quicker hands. Right, when he lets his hands go, he has very quick hands, and that's always been.
See, if I don't like him on the ropes versus Ishe, imagine with Gennady, you can't be there. You got to be where he's at now in the center of the ring. You got to pump that jab the way that he's doing versus Gennady. This is actually what I want to see from him. I swear, this is what I don't want to see him try to stand and trade. I don't want to see him try to do what Brooke did. You need to find the spots that Brooke found, get in like Sugar Ray Leonard, and get out.
Yeah, but here's the difference. I think that why he's fighting this way is because
not be in that corner with Gennady.
Yeah, he's not worried about Ishe Smith's power. I don't think anybody has really ever been worried about his power. So he's able to be in this fight right here, like. If he was able to fight Golovkin this way, at least early on, where he was in the pocket throwing the triple jabs and then throwing hooks off it, that's a good way to fight Golovkin. But you just have to have the chin and the confidence to be right there, right?
Yes.
You cannot, I don't think you could fight Golovkin from a distance. I think you need to.
See, it's that Smith is keeping his hands. Golovkin would be letting overhand rights go and left hooks to the body or to the head.
It's very hard to compare Ishe Smith to Golovkin. They really don't have anything similar, right? Except
But
the fact
we
that
can't compare are the movements of Jacobs and how they would look versus, like, I don't want to see him do that. I don't want to see you try to be Mayweather against the ropes with Golovkin because you're going to get knocked out. That's not what I want to see.
yeah. No,
That's
because
what I want to see. Jab to the body.
yeah,
Jab.
but he just got hit clean with that jab. You saw that though. Ishe Smith landed a clean jab.
That's what I want to see. I want to see him make the person miss.
And I think something we should do in this fight is pay attention.
Fight. This is a terrible. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You said this is a terrible fight. What? Go ahead.
Terrible fight to watch because Ishe's not letting his hands go, and we know that Golovkin is a way more aggressive fighter than Ishe Smith. You know,
I know, but that's only the first round.
It's going to highlight the boxing attributes of Daniel Jacobs when, in fact, we need a more aggressive fighter to see, does he still act like a boxer? Can he still pivot? Can he get out of the corner versus a more aggressive, you know, look, he even admitted it. That's why I want to do the next show earlier tonight. He admitted Golovkin's skill with the cutting off the ring. He knows he's in trouble there. So, you know, again, this this is like watching Ishe Smith and trying to compare it to Golovkin. It's like he's so much slower and doing so much less.
Yeah, I mean, yep. I mean, but again, this is a long time ago. This is before Daniel Jacobs overcame cancer. But again, this is what we have to say. This fight doesn't really resemble Golovkin and Ishe Smith, but there's just not that much.
Look, he came out southpaw. What if he does that? You think Golovkin just shoots the straight right? Would this be a mistake? He's doing southpaw here.
I mean, no. Now he's back to orthodox.
Now he's back to orthodox. Okay.
No, I don't recommend a fighter who is traditionally an orthodox fighter ever switching to southpaw in a big fight. It's so difficult unless you do everything backwards. It's
that's how he got caught,
especially defensively, right? Because you know if you fight orthodox so much, you know to keep the right hand back, right? The right hand back towards your chin, and then it's not as instinctual having the left hand doing in southpaw stance. Do you feel you know what I'm saying?
I totally agree about that. I find everything that I do with my right to be difficult. Damn, he got caught with a good left hook, bro. Dan
Jacobs.
Yes, and you know, Gennady has that breaking orbital bone left hook, so that doesn't make me. Did that land that straight right? He's got to pump this jab and get his back off the ropes, man.
Well, yeah. What were the odds though? Like what were the odds the last time that we were talking?
8-1.
Yeah.
But now they're you can get $500 if you bet 100 on Jacobs now.
Well, that's okay. It's always been like that, but
no, 8-1 would have meant you get 800.
No, he was minus 800. No, he was an 8-1 favorite, but you know there's like a gap in between, right? So it's still anywhere between, right, and all the sports betting sites between him being a 7-1 favorite and between him being a 10-1 favorite. So
that was like a 4-punch. Ooh, but he got caught with the left hook again. But man, he did like he got caught with another left hook. This is not good. Yeah, this is definitely found a home, bro. What's sad is he landed like a 4-punch straight down the middle combination, which I like because I think Golovkin is wide, even though you call those left hooks feints.
Well, it is fair. It is fair to say too that
see what I'm saying? See that right hand? That was straight down the pipe. Yeah. That's what you need to do. You got to be straight with Golovkin.
But Ishe Smith has never been knocked out, so that's a fair assessment to make. But it's also fair to say that Daniel Jacobs doesn't necessarily have this like earth-shattering power if he won 10 rounds with Ishe Smith, because and this is not being biased again, that Golovkin knocks everybody out and he's knocked out a lot of guys who've never been stopped before. So you know what I'm saying? It's not like Daniel Jacobs has this power, at least presented in this fight as of right now, that we have not seen before, right?
Yeah. Let me ask you a question, right? This is a fight from 8 years ago.
Right.
Now, can we look at this fight and the flaws that we see? Do we nitpick or do we realize it's 8 years ago and they might have been corrected? I mean, because I'm feeling like, damn, if I talk about things that he's doing wrong, is it fair to say from a fight that's 8 years ago? But if I see the things that he's doing well, is it also fair to say that those things have improved 8 years later? Because again, he is boxing well. And 8 years ago, how old was he? I mean, he's a kid right now.
Do you thought he he won the first 2 rounds? I think it's 1-1 maybe.
The second round, it could be argued. I mean, Ishe landed a lot of left hooks.
I think Smith could have won that second round though.
Yeah, I seen a couple of straight right hands, but again, he did do the majority of the boxing, and right up until those double left hooks that Ishe landed, I was trying to get your attention and mention the 4-punch combination that Jacobs landed. So
yeah,
it's really subjective, but again, in Ishe's mind, he won this fight. So let's, for argument's sake, chalk it up to Ishe and give it 1-1.
You see how much Vaseline they just put on his face?
What do you think about what I said in terms of the 8 years and the good and the bad that we could pick out of this?
I mean, I don't know. Like, I would just take it as it is, right? We just have to look at it as and they scored it the same way we did, just in this. Because it's just, you have to take it as his, like I said, as his
hands are far too low. See, this is what I'm saying. Like 8 years ago, does he still keep them that low?
I mean, but for people who are listening for Patreon, right? And that was a good combination. For people, for Jacobs, for people listening Patreon, it's like, what would you rather us look at? There's not much there recently. Sergio Mora, I mean, we know how that fight went. The first one was an injury. The second one, it was a washed-up fighter, and Jacobs, I guess, eased his attack on and didn't look ultra impressive, but did, took care of business. So this is his, like I said, this is his third best opponent, and I think we just have to, unless you guys could show us improvement since, I think this is fair to take it as it is, right?
Well, at least Jacobs is being very aggressive. I mean, he threw a series of combinations, straight 1-2s, Kelbrook style, but it was like 4 of them back. There he goes again, and he's landing him. I need him to be aggressive. Again, in those comments, I really wish the whole team was available earlier or sooner to do that show, because he mentioned Golovkin being in with guys that haven't really been able to hold their own ground. And you hear Lennox Lewis speaking about how Jacobs is holding his ground in this round. And that's what Jacobs spoke about, him being able to fear Gennady and the power, but at the same time, if he can get in there and take a few shots, and because he said he's not afraid of Gennady Golovkin, he's more fearful of what the world is saying about Gennady Golovkin. So it's going to take that first round. And
that doesn't make really any sense, though. Like, in other words, he's saying, I don't see what the other people are seeing, but what are the other people seeing? I think yes. Let me give you an example. Let's just say that I'm about to fight you, right? We're getting into a fight. We're about to spar match. I'm like, I'm not afraid of Ness. Like, I'm confident in my own ability. I'm gonna hurt him. Like, I don't think Ness really could do it. But if everybody's saying that you're this killer, you're this dude, you're this beast, right? If I was confident in myself, I wouldn't be saying all these other people are saying this. I would just be like, yeah, they don't know what the deal is. I know what the deal is. So why would he be afraid about what else is saying if him himself didn't have self-doubts? I mean, that's just my opinion, right?
All right, but you didn't read the article. What he meant, right? He's like, I'm not afraid of Golovkin, but I'm training like I believe everything that people are saying. So I'm fearful of what people say about Golovkin, and I'm training for that. That's what he said. It's not that he does. That was a good right hand, but it was a windmill. I hate windmill. I mean, what's the difference between that and Wilder?
I mean, yeah,
it was a windmill. I don't like windmills. I never liked Danny's wide left hook. I mean, that's how you get caught.
You see his face is getting marked up too.
Listen, I would, Kelbrook doesn't know it, but I would love Kelbrook. I really would if he was more active, because I like fighters.
Yeah, and Ishe is getting chastised right now by his corner because he's not keeping his hands up.
That's actually Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, who we've had on the show plenty of times. Remember when he came on talking about Badu Jack? Oh man, he even missed the windmill punch.
I missed it, yeah.
What's wrong with Ishe?
No, because he was trying to throw after the bell, I guess.
And Daniel right there, like,
damn.
What? I like.
Oh my God!
No fear, bro. No fear. Look,
he's pushing that referee, whatever his name is. This is the worst referee in boxing.
Yeah, that's McCanty, right? But look, he's pushing the ref, and Jacobs is not fearful at all.
What's Badu Jack, aka Benedict Arnold, right?
That's what Eddie Mustafa.
Yeah.
Look at that jab to the body. Look at that. That's what I want to see.
That's what I'm saying. His hand speed.
I want to see that, man. That's what
I know, But like Ness
has to shell up when you get those barrages coming like that. The thing is, stamina, MD. Can he do that versus Golovkin for 12 rounds? You know what it's going to take to dance around the ring and avoid being on the ropes? That left hook landed right there.
Yeah.
Good left hook to the body.
Jacob's best attribute is his power and hand speed, right? I don't think that he's not a defensive wizard. He's not like a Lara fighter, right? That's why Lara does bring a different.
He pivots well. I think he turns out of danger. I just don't like that when he turns, you'll see he puts both his hands down and leans his neck back.
But it's his foot. I think it's his footwork, Ness, that I don't think is necessarily at the most elite level, because he has good punch combinations. I just think sometimes, with the windmill shit, I just think his feet are a little bit out of position, so he's kind of reaching a little bit. When David Lemieux threw that left hook,
abs on him.
Yeah, when David Lemieux threw that left hook Saturday, right?
Yeah.
His feet were in the perfect position that he just had to shift like a little bit, and he got that leverage, which was that knockout punch. And I think Daniel Jacobs often, when he throws these combinations, is a little out of range, and his feet aren't necessarily in the best position.
Ooh, I like that 3-punch combination. Finished him with a left uppercut. That was nice. See, you see right there how he turned out with his hands down and leaning. I don't like that, man. Golovkin will lunge and hit you with the left hook.
He does have a quick-ass jab when he throws it, when he commits to it.
We got to see how he reacts to Triple G's power, man. That's what's going to determine if he stays in the center of the ring or not. And feints like that, I want to see what feints like that will do to Triple G. He hasn't really been in there with what we call a black slick fighter, right? Is that what Bernard Hopkins says? Hey, did you read the recent quote? I only read the headline. But
I really disagree with that. I disagree with that because I found Monroe pretty slick.
Oh, yes, you're right. Monroe is pretty slick. Yo, Daniel's wide, but again, 8 years ago. That right hand was super wide, though.
And Curtis Stevens is black, but he sure as hell is not slick.
No, you're right. You're right. That was a total. I need to detract that statement because Stevens is slick enough for me. I like his left hook.
Stevens?
Yeah. It's sneaky. That left hook is sneaky. He might not be the slickest because he's there, right? But he's quick on his feet, I think, and he's explosive, obviously. And then you got Monroe. So yeah, you're right. You can't argue with that. He's probably fought the right fighters in preparation for a Jacobs. I wouldn't say that those guys are necessarily on it. Maybe Monroe could be on a Jacobs level without the power, right? So I don't know how far that takes him.
Okay, but Ishe Smith is more proven, right? Battle tested, you would say. But Monroe, I think that he has the tools to be on the Ishe Smith level, right? He has the tools to be competitive with someone like
better than Ishe Smith. I think he
has more upside, Ness. That's what you're saying.
I think Monroe would beat Ishe. I think that Monroe is going to have the bigger punchers.
Now, because Ishe Smith is a little past his prime, I think.
Like, can Monroe possibly outbox Lemieux? Yeah, but he could also be knocked out. The probability of him being knocked out is greater. Look, you hear him? He says he's an amateur. I'm a veteran. He's already getting tired. Are you seeing him? Because that would be interesting. What round are we in? If the fighter feels
this is the thing I said. It's like, do you question Golovkin's cardio at all?
Never.
So then, are you 100% sold on Daniel Jacobs? Like, I just think there's so many more question marks for Daniel Jacobs' side. Which
there absolutely are. Even though people want to question Golovkin's resume, his resume is more proven. He has guys like Monroe and guys like Daniel Gill. Even the Kasim Uma fight. All those things are there. It does.
I know. And the Kasim Uma fight, and we could go back if there's enough interest of that. We can maybe watch that this week. Golovkin did get
not necessary. That shit was probably like 10 years old. We're only going 10 years back for Jacobs because he has few good tapes.
But again, Ness, what was the result of the Uma fight?
A knockout.
I know, and it was a brutal stoppage too. It wasn't like
I don't bring it up to discredit him. I bring it up to say that he's been fighting decent level opponents for a very long time. Just ignorant people that say he has never fought.
Put it this way: when Daniel Jacobs, on his return,
this is what I want to see. I'm sorry to cut you. I just want to see him. Look at that. I want to see him working like this. You have to keep Golovkin busy. That is what. Look at that. That's what you need.
But he's not even able to hurt Ishe. He hasn't hurt him one time. But
he's keeping him away from him. That's what's mad. Look, you see that little left hook? It made him reset.
The hand speed. Yeah, hand speed. I don't think that he can go punch for punch.
Ishe missed wide with both of them. But
Ooh,
you see,
that's beautiful. Yeah.
combinations.
So his hands.
Up.
Daniel Jacobs is blessed with extremely fast hands. Like,
but I don't like this. He cannot be in that corner with Golovkin.
Yeah. Yo, so let's put it this way again. When Daniel Jacobs fought Milton Nunez on his return run, right? He fought him in 2014, right? The middle. What's the exact date?
Wow.
March of 2014.
Jab and came over the top, bro, with it right.
Yeah, March of 2014, and knocked him out in the first round. Golovkin fought him in the same. Knocked him out in the first round in 58 seconds, and fought him in 2010. So like
earlier.
Yeah, so he's been fighting good level. Even before we knew Golovkin, he wasn't fighting bums. Like, we just don't know these guys.
Yeah. What I do like is that even if this is 8-9 years ago, he doesn't look sloppy. You can see his amateur pedigree there. It's funny that we're talking about amateurs because you know that he's fought in the Madison Square Garden on numerous undercards, but he started his career there as an amateur, winning the Golden Gloves. In damn, he got hit with like 3 jabs there by Ishe.
I know.
It's like Ishe could time his jab too. He's come over the top over Danny's jab because he's kind of just like pushing it. It's not really snapping it.
Jacobs is gonna have to throw a lot because I don't think Jacobs. I don't think Jacobs has the kind of pop.
Did Ishe hurt him?
I know, and he hurt
him because he's going away.
Yeah, he's doing what people call Keith Thurman running.
Oh, what the? I don't remember this.
Nah. Oh shit.
Whoa, I didn't know that. Yo, Ishe is dirty, man. Yo, that was 3 fucking punches after the bell plus a neck.
Yo, but that's the worst referee ever. He doesn't take control of the fucking ring, whatever his name is.
Jesus. And I know that, I'll be honest. Jacobs initiated it. He landed 1 punch after the bell, but damn, Ishe's excessive, bro. Shit, that was, I didn't even remember that. Wow. Boom. That hurt him. That hurt him. Oh, that isn't it then. That's the one right there.
No, that hurt him. That stunned him.
Oh, that's the one. That's the one. Oh, and then a third one.
No, wow. He's hurt. Yeah, he's hurt a little.
I didn't like that when Ishe tried to close ground on him, Jacobs threw a jab. I would rather see you hold, man. Go for the clinch when you're hurt, bro. Don't try to fight. But this is 8 years ago. The maturity level is different. Jacobs back in the center of the ring, doubling up on the jab, finished up with an uppercut to the body. These are the combinations I want to see, man. We're 4 days away from seeing can he show his levels.
But I think the thing that Jacobs needs to do, Golovkin, is stand there and he needs to throw a lot of punches, Ness. Like
a lot. But on top of that, it's gonna be can he, because he's gonna have to circle the entire ring. I mean, are you questioning Golovkin being able to pin him against the ropes?
I mean, no.
Exactly. So his only answer to that has to be high cardio.
High volume.
And high cardio though, because he's gonna have to move
and of course, and cardio. No, yeah. It takes energy. It takes a lot of energy to throw punches, and it especially takes a lot of energy to throw punches that you aren't landing. So with a high volume output, right, you're going to be missing a lot of punches because he's going to have to use his hands as his defense,
wow,
right?
A good parry by him, though. See, this is what I'm interested, though. I just want him to at least be able to take Gennady's power for at least.
But here's the problem, though.
Rounds, bro, so we could see a fight, man.
But here's the problem, though. The way Jacobs is fighting, and Ishe Smith is a tough guy who's never been knocked out, but Golovkin's chin.
Did Jamal Charlo knock him out? Maybe. Or was that Bundridge? Somebody knocked him out, I think, at this point in his career. Maybe. I could be wrong. Not important, though.
I don't.
Oh, fuck. That was a big right hand and a left hook. Ishe did some good work.
That's what I'm saying. No, he's never been knocked out. But that's what I'm saying. It's like Jacobs, I mean, at least in this fight, his power is having no effect on Smith. That's why he's able to sit there and take these combination punches and counter with massive punches.
Yeah, but do the math. How old was he? I mean, maybe his man strength didn't sit in.
That's true. That is true. What you said? This was in 2009. 8 years ago. 8
And
years,
remember,
7
Ishe's
years
old.
ago.
Ishe's old, so in this fight, Ishe is younger than obviously he is now, but older than Jacobs, so has his man.
Ishe was in his prime in this fight for sure.
Yes. Even though you could argue that he wasn't because of his inconsistencies due to managerial and promotional things. Oh my God, I don't like that, bro. He's landing that left hook at will right now.
You know, the crazy thing is Ishe Smith, I forgot, he actually was a legitimate world champion.
Yeah. He had the IBF strap.
He beat K9, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, Daniel Jacobs doesn't even have a fight against like a K9. So I would love to see. I mean, that's a tough fight, even at an old.
Nah, K9 is too old, bro. I seen him in Alabama. He's actually going to be fighting again, but man, he looks old.
I mean, wasn't Lubin supposed to get a shot at him?
I mean, yeah, but someone like Lubin deserves it, but not Jacobs. Jacobs, that would be a step backwards.
I know. No, I'm not talking about
158 now. Moving up to fight a 160-pound champion. That's like people would rag on him.
No, I'm not talking about now. I'm talking, and you're thinking of K9 actually, who got knocked out by Charlo. I think you're getting them confused.
Yeah. Damn. So Charlo never fought Ishe though?
No.
I would have liked him to fight Ishe.
Nah, he fought Von. I mean, Ishe's been in there with some names, right? He's been in there with Carlos Molina, Lara.
This is a good fight to watch. This is why, and it's sad that it's 8 years ago, but that shows the talent of Daniel Jacobs before the diagnosis of cancer, bro.
Yep.
He was being moved properly, and that's why he was in that Prague fight. Now, they thought he was ready, but we didn't.
I know, but you don't know any.
But know what Prague was. That's why they put him in that fight. No one knew who was Prague, bro. We didn't know.
No, Prague was a accomplished fighter. And a world champion.
He would no. That was a vacant title shot, bro. Get out of here. No one knew who Prague was, man. Believe me, dude. I was on the sport back then. Remember,
You're right.
Oh my God, I don't like this. Maybe Ishe was right, but again, this is 8 years ago. But maybe Ishe's right, and Daniel's slowing down. Ishe's being able to get to the body, even though McCarthy is now saying that those were low blows.
Yeah, and let me just let you guys know again that the type of cancer that Jacobs has, it's not like the cancer was affecting him at this point. Most likely not, because it was a rapidly growing, I think it was an sarcoma. I think it was on his spine, obviously. So at the space it was growing, it wasn't like it was in his blood or whatever for a long period of time that would be affecting his, cardiovascular conditions, hormones, et cetera, et cetera. So I think he looks like a good fighter here, Daniel Jacobs. I just think that I don't see the power that he had since then. And honestly, I think the reason that he's had such power since his cancer recovery is that he's been matched pretty favorably, honestly.
I don't know, man. How do we know that?
You consider this guy a power puncher that you see right here?
Yeah, but how do you know that this right here wasn't the beginning of the cancer and
well, that's what I'm saying.
Power diminishing.
Just 2 years before.
And also, look, Ishe is just a tough dude, though, man.
I know, but I'm saying like the type of cancer that he had specifically, it was a specific tumor. It was a large singular tumor. It wasn't into other parts of his system. So once you remove it,
Ishe's on his toes in the 7th round, bro. He's like got a spurt of energy here. He's keeping that left hand pretty low, but he's definitely popping that jab. That's what I like, Jacobs. What's that? Like 8-10 punches right there.
I know, but he landed this. when when his ass was against the ropes. You know what I'm saying?
Still punching. Oh, big left hook by fucking Smith. Jesus, come on.
It's fair to say that Ishe Smith has heavier hands than Jacobs in this fight. I really am.
You know what? Too, I have to agree with you because it looks like sometimes when Ishe lands that left hook, it's more telling. Like Jacobs.
And Jacobs is hitting to the back of the head too, man. They're both dirty, fighting a little dirty right now. He's trying to cuff him a little to the back of the head. You feel me?
I don't like that parry that he's trying to anticipate the punch, and he leaves himself wide open by, releasing his guard and kind of having his arms extended in front of him. But I do like that triple jab.
Yep, and he does throw a good uppercut. He does throw a good right uppercut sometimes too.
That was a little sneaky right hand. I want to see him land that shot. But you're right. I don't see any effects of the power, bro. I mean, to me, it looks like Again, this is 8 years ago, but it looks like Ishe shots are the bigger shot.
But to be fair, though, I really like. We could go back and watch that last Sergio Mora fight. It wasn't like his power was like ridiculous in that Mora fight either. It took him 7 rounds to get a shot set up that he was able to set up a perfect shot to finish Mora, and I don't think he knocked Mora out cold.
Yeah, but that's why the argument is that he has more one-punch power than Golovkin.
I don't think
while
he does.
Golovkin is better at putting together his punches and beating you down, this guy, he can land that one punch. So yeah, he could be losing the fight.
I know, but what I'm saying is that, well, I think it's the hand speed, right? It's not only the power. I think Golovkin hits harder, but maybe because his hands are quicker, Daniel Jacobs, and who he's fought, he's able to land those in-between punches that they don't see, and he's able to knock guys out. But I don't like I said, in this fight right now, I don't see him having like thudding power, right? Power that's making Ishe Smith's head snap back and, really have to shell up defensively to avoid getting hurt, right? And it's a pretty close fight. I would say that I agree with the scorecards that Daniel Jacobs is probably up a round or two, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not scoring it round by round. I'm more looking for the flaws, which I'm seeing that he's so susceptible to a left hook. I want to see the fight.
It's acceptable.
Fight. Good right hand. I want to see a fight a little.
But do you hear what I'm saying, Ness? It's that Daniel Jacobs has that sneaky power because his hands are so fast, right? He's able to blind you with his hand speed and then throw a hook around the straight punches. So someone like Ishe Smith, who's defensively responsible and tough and a veteran, is able to withstand the punishment. So it's. But again, in the Mora fight, his power, I don't know. Like the last one wasn't.
Good body work.
And again, it is interesting to note, important to note that Ishe Smith is moving up for this fight, right?
Oh, is he? I was trying to log into my box right to check what weight this one was at. But I don't know why Chrome never remembers my shit, bro.
Bro, Ishe Smith, when he fought for the Contender Series, he fought at welterweight.
Yeah, I mean, Ishe's been around for a while, bro.
He's probably a natural 154 pounder. I would say it's fair. I wouldn't say he's moving up 2 weight classes. Do you remember that?
At this point, Ishe was definitely a 54 pounder moving up. And he always had felt more comfortable at 54.
Yeah. Then 47 or 60, because he, like you said, like I said, he fought a contender at. Do you remember that Contender Series?
Yep, I watched it.
It was terrible.
I remember Hollywood Hino and all those people there.
I'll tell you why it was terrible, because they didn't let the fights go. The fights were like
3 rounds, some weird shit. It was not.
No, it's not even that. They should just show the fights, and the UFC used to do that for their Ultimate Fighter show. They used to like have the fights like artistically done, like just show the fucking fight, like hit the bell, let them fight. They would, they would do like post-production nest, like show like slow motion, like while you're trying, you know what I mean? Yeah. Only show you the highlights. Like that's bullshit. Like if we're making us learn about boxers, they should show boxing, right?
Yeah, man, Jacobs got to keep them hands up.
Would you say he's breathing hard as well?
Yeah, and it looks like, I guess to add with the breathing, he's looking for the home run punch. Look at how he threw that final left hook, like it was swinging a baseball bat.
But for a prospect, like
that man gets around, bro. See him everywhere. I gotta memorize his name.
Who are you talking about? Smith is?
The cut man right there, working on Danny.
I think you're thinking about Ishe Smith's Stitch Duran.
No.
That's the dude right there. Look right here. He's the one who.
No, I know who Duran is. I mean, the other one in the other corner. He works for Danny too. Danny Garcia.
Oh.
He's always so fancy. He's always wearing like these 3-piece suits and gator shoes.
He gets a lot of work in Danny Garcia's corner.
Yeah, man. They keep him busy. He doesn't look that tired. I mean, he said, all right, come on. It's not breathing heavy. I did see some heavy breathing in the end of the last round, though. I'm still happy to see him still pumping the jab, though. That's what he's gonna need. We're in round 9 of 10, but you see that Ishe almost countered him over that fucking jab again. It's a little slow, that jab. He's got to change the speeds on it every now and again. And I've only seen him go to the body with that jab once or twice this whole fight. Good right. He led with that straight right.
I was about to say that Daniel Jacobs is not throwing that many counter punches. That was a good counter.
I don't like that his hands are that low, bro. You can't do that with Golovkin. Golovkin's like a panther, man. He'll lunge in with that left hook and cut the distance off in that lunge and land it, bro. You seen what happened with the Gill fight. You seen what Monroe, Brooke, everybody's defeat has been that left hook. Man, oh shit! Smith landed nice there. Man, I'm starting now that I'm thinking about it. Is his left hook his best punch? Would you say?
Smith,
It's at least no. Golovkin. It's at least his setup punch, right? Like that's the one that hurts everyone. Then he finishes you off with like a barrage.
Honestly, I'd say it's his jab.
It's usually the left brings you down.
I'd honestly say it's his jab. Is his jab and left hook to the body. I mean, all of his – you sound like a fanboy, but like all of his punches are good. I mean, Ness, is that fair to say that all of his punches have power?
Yeah, no, that's obvious. They all have power. But which one is the best?
I mean, I would say his left's better, just because he has more variety with it. Because he could jab, he could jab off, he could uppercut off the jab, which is dangerous, and he could throw a left hook to the body, left hook to the head combination. I don't know. But the right hook, right, he digs the right straight to the body, and
he's landed like 3 left hooks, but they're not. I don't see it.
They're arm punches. Those are arm punches, Ness.
Yeah, he's tired, maybe, or he's not getting extension, right?
Yeah, exactly. The arm punches.
Like that one may be too loopy, but those loopy ones have power.
And you understand one of the reasons why at this point I feel like he's keeping his hands low is because
they're heavy. The glove.
Yep.
That right hand is sneaky though. He's got a cute right hand on the inside. When they're in close like that, he's been landing that overhand right, really short one. That's what you got to do in clinches too, because Golovkin's throwing in clinches. He's not there to hold you. Fucking Smith landed another left hook. And he's so wide, bro. And he's still landing on Jacobs. Good right hand again.
Maybe not the smartest thing in the world when he got caught clean and hard like that. Maybe he's stunned, but his basic disposition.
Yeah. Ishe Smith is definitely less tired, I would say, at this point.
Man,
ooh.
No, they keep hitting each other after the bell, bro. What the fuck? Yep, that's right. That's right. Take it. It's about time, bro. What the hell was wrong with Ishe back then? Fucking weirdo.
I don't know how Ishe Smith thought he won this fight, though, because losing that
worked, man. I mean, but he is doing so. I mean,
I know, but he lost a point there, right?
Yeah, he did lose a point. He's not going to get a knockdown.
So, exactly. So, I don't know how – I didn't really see him winning.
I don't remember
6 rounds or 5 rounds so far.
Right? Maybe that's his thing. It's like, oh, he was the A side. All the cards were stacked against me. They took a point from me. Who knows what he was saying back then?
Oh, that was clearly.
Yeah.
He missed it, though. But to be fair, he would have thrown that with bad intentions, right?
Hey, man, sometimes you got to be that stern to stop guys. You got to take control.
We should have done it earlier, to be honest.
Very true. I like when refs take a point from both. It keeps it even, but it's like, a point from both, that means the next one gets that 1 point.
Yeah.
Because once you take a point, you can't give a warning again. So.
Yeah, and maybe so that Letterman has it at 88-82. Even if you give Smith another round or two, he's still like.
He went southpaw again, bro.
Stupidness.
Southpaw with his hands down. Fucking stupid.
He just got hit right there.
Excuse me. Not stupid, but just not the right thing to do.
No, it's not very intelligent. I agree.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I want to use
sometimes you move to the southpaw to set up some different offense. But I don't think going southpaw for most guys is defensively smart. Yeah, you give guys different looks because, right, you could throw let's just say
shot to the body.
Yeah, you could throw like a short right hook, right? But at the end of the day, it's it's dangerous, man.
You know,
Especially-
again, I got to keep repeating this is 8 years ago just to make myself feel better. Because,
Do you see a guy that could beat Golovkin in there right now?
well, this is 8 years ago, right? So
Yep,
I
yep.
see definitely, I see things that he can do that he's doing in this fight that if, you know, these things were polished up moving 8 years his senior, yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, if he fights this type of fight, but the thing is, if Golovkin fights the Ishe fight, Golovkin is better at what Ishe is doing than Ishe, obviously. So maybe he still beats Jacobs because he is going to be able to catch up to Jacobs. But again, there are things like this, up and down jabs. Look at that hook. This
I know, but I don't. The thing that I'm
but Ishe landed that left hook again.
the thing that I'm noticing like right now here that it's like, I mean, Ishe Smith, right? He's losing this fight, but he for sure is not getting his ass whooped, right?
No, he's not.
He's in this fight, right? He's competitive, and
He has no power, right? Because he's landed that left hook all night, and there's not even a whelp on this guy's face.
on Jacobs'
He
face.
landed it again and again.
No, I would say that Jake.
Again. Holy shit! How do you get? This is what again he hit him with. Why are you laying on the look? Another left hook. It's ridiculous.
Bro, he's tired. That's why. But Ness, you have to.
You will get slept on those ropes by Golovkin. You cannot lean back like that versus Golovkin. You can't do that.
Yeah, I mean,
why did HBO release this? Was this meant to make Jacobs look good or bad?
well, but the thing is, Ness, that I don't see the since he beat.
Okay, he is rallying back this round. Oh, but he got.
Oh my
God. What the fuck? He was wide.
Ness, since Jacobs overcame cancer, he's knocked out all of his opponents, right? I don't see the power. That's the thing.
Right.
I mean, the thing. I don't.
But again, we said it. Ishe's never been knocked out. That was a great 10th round. Man, this was a good fight for him as a young kid, though. Freaking I don't remember my password now. Whack, bro.
Yeah, I really do. I like the matchup. I like the fight. It actually was a decent fight, honestly.
It was.
I know Ishe Smith sometimes is not in the greatest fights because of his mauling style, but I mean, yeah, like I said, Ishe Smith is a tough fighter. He's never been knocked out even at this point of his career. So I don't necessarily expect Jacobs to starch him and knock him out the same way that he did to Quillen even back then. But I didn't see the type of power to make Ishe Smith not commit to that left hook counter, right?
Oh,
Daniel Jacobs did, but Daniel Jacobs did display.
But how old did we say he was at this day?
Is it like 7 years ago?
8 years.
Oh, 8 years ago, about 8. So how is Daniel Jacobs now? 31. He was a kid. I mean, he was a rising prospect, right?
Yeah, but
this is before he got his. This is before he was world champion and got his title shot against Prague.
I'm just saying. I think the age is a bit important to know. Like you know how people say, "Oh, man strength." That's all I'm trying to figure out.
Well, how old is Daniel Jacobs right now? I can just do the math really quickly.
He's 30. There you go. 22 years old. What do you think? Yeah. I mean, Canelo was pretty powerful at 21, bro.
I think Canelo is definitely more powerful now, though.
So you do agree that the power could start to develop as you get older?
I do, but again, like I said, I don't really give him credit knocking out Robert Quillitter, Josh Lutheran, Chris Fitzpatrick, Keenan Collins, Giovanni Lorenzo, Milton Nunez, which Golovkin did as well in the first round.
Lorenzo. You probably weren't watching.
No, I wasn't. And then he fought Jared.
Been in there with everybody, bro.
And then he fought
in there with Stern, with everybody.
And then he fought Jared Left Hook Fletcher. He looked okay in that fight, but who was Jared Fletcher? And he knocked him out in 5 rounds. Then we saw him fight Caleb Truex. He won 12 rounds. Then the Moore injury fight. Then the Quillen knockout, then the Moore rematch. Now he's fighting Golovkin. I mean, I don't want to hate on the guy, but like Ness, that's a really, really, really weak, weak.
But again, isn't this the story of Golovkin's life that he's been fighting bad opposition? That's why people want him.
I mean, that's not fair because,
who's in the division and you're discrediting Jacob. So I mean, what should Golovkin do?
Even when Golovkin was fighting like unknowns, he still was fighting people like, I don't know, Sergey Kaminsky. You know who that is?
Never heard of him.
I mean, you know, he's a Euro bum to you, right?
I just never heard of him.
I mean, I think I heard.
But I give Jacobs more credit for the Sergio Mora wins because I know Mora was a tough.
I know, no, but I'm saying like that was Golovkin's like 8th fight, and then even like he beat Milton Nunez and he fought Kasim Uma. I don't know, like Lejon Simon, but let's be fair then. Like, where's Golovkin's proxa? I mean, where's Daniel Jacobs' proxa?
No, but that's what I'm saying. He doesn't have one. So now you see why the callers and listeners say that Golovkin hasn't fought anyone, right? Because the division is weak. Like, look, we're looking at a world champion, quote unquote, in Daniel Jacobs, who's going in this big undisputed fight, but he has no resume to speak of. And it's pretty much the same thing for everyone else. Golovkin,
but he essentially took. Well, beating Kid Chocolate and knocking Kid Chocolate out, you essentially took his legitimate resume because Kid Chocolate does have some names on his resume. So it's not like he doesn't, he hasn't been there. Just, but again, I think he is a legitimate. I don't think this fight should be on pay-per-view, like we've discussed. I think that they asked for money, both of them. Since Golovkin demands so much money and Jacobs asked for so much money, this fight had to be on pay-per-view because HBO budget is dismal. It's unfortunate it is. Because all this is the kingpin of the division fighting a legitimate contender.
The number one contender.
It's not a super fight. This is not clearly between the number one and number two. It's not clearly between number one and number two. You can make the argument that Daniel Jacobs is number two, but you could also make the argument that David Lemieux is number two. Or Billy Joe Saunders is number two, even if you would like to make that argument.
At this point, there's an argument for everyone except Billy Joe Saunders. I think that, Lemieux with his win last Saturday kind of made a case for that.
But you don't think Billy Joe Saunders still has an argument for number two?
Well, based on resume, yes. The Eubank win looks better. The Andy Lee looks good. But the inactivity, it does what inactivity does. It makes us boxing fans forget you, not want to see you, care less about you.
Yo, what about Sebastian Hyland? I heard he's do we still hear?
That's funny. I've been hearing about this guy since like Sergio Martinez days, but we've never seen him fight.
I've never seen him fight.
I seen that one fight with Matthew Macklin. If that's the same Hyland, I don't even know.
I don't know. I don't think so, actually.
Well, there you go. Listen, this has been another film study. We're about 4 days out now from the Gennady Golovkin versus Daniel Jacobs pay-per-view Saturday, March 18th. Do not forget, we will be doing an immediate reaction show after this pay-per-view live. So you don't want to miss that. Plus, we'll be here Sunday, and you know that Sunday is Crow Day. I am your host, Nestor Gibbs. Find me on Instagram and Twitter at NesGTO, and you can find the good doctor at?
You can find me at BoxingMD1 on Twitter.
And this is going to be your free preview, right? This is what we normally do on Patreon. We're putting this one out free, obviously in lieu of this big fight, kind of entice you in and see how we break down these fights and do these film studies. So if you enjoy this, head on over to Patreon for more exclusive content. Gotta go.